Good morning. So today I'm going to show you how to make a pretty simple omelet. I thought that would be a good cooking lesson to start with here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the toast going. So this toaster oven, it just takes a little bit of time for the toast to get really to the darkness that I like. So I'm going to start that to begin with. So what do we have here? So I have already started scrambling up the eggs. I added a very little bit of milk to a couple of eggs here and started mixing it already because I realized that it will be a little bit difficult for me to mix and hold the phone for the camera while I'm doing this, okay? So remember, this is what we also did at Next Step, is that when you're doing anything with eggs, the more you scramble it up, what's happening is an aeration process. So the more you do this, the fluffier your eggs will be. So if you like them fluffy, you want to keep on doing it. If you like it a little flatter, I'm more of a flatter guy, especially with this situation with the omelets, then you do that. All right, so I think it's mixed enough. I'll do it quickly before I pour it into the pan. So what else am I going to have in here? I think all of us have these type of Tupperware containers, something that's like really, really small. You know, you can see this is the small pan. So it's like, what are these for? Well, I end up having a few leftover vegetables. I had some onions and some tomatoes left over from a salad that I made. You know, I end up in a situation where, here I am, I make salad for everybody, and everybody likes something different. So I usually have a make your own salad, only like a salad bar, only at my house. So I cut up a bunch of vegetables, and people put in what they like in my family. So my daughter doesn't like tomatoes, so we have that. My son is not a huge fan of onions, so I have a few extra of those. So that's what we have going forward for our omelet. So once again, we want to make sure that we use the right size pan for the right size burner. So I just need a small pan, so I wouldn't need to put it on this big, huge burner or this burner. So I'm going to have it on the smaller burner in the back, and I'm going to get it going between medium and medium high, all right? And what I want to do is I want to heat up the pan, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some butter to it, you know, to make sure it doesn't stick. Not too much. We don't want to add too much fat. Then I'm going to saute up the vegetables here, add the egg, and I'm going to put a little cheese on it. And we'll see how we do here going live. So I need to get a knife. So I'm going to head over here to the knife thing, a drawer. So once again, these cooking lessons hopefully will get a little smoother as we go along. All right, so we'll end up getting some butter here. Let me switch this around. Good. Right. And not shown on this video, obviously, is I washed my hands before this. And now I'm going to add some of these. I don't need a lot. That'll be enough, and now I'll have enough for another day, probably tomorrow. And I just want to heat that up a little bit, okay? Start to get it a little cooked, especially the onions. But vegetables are one of those things you can eat raw. Eggs you can't eat raw, right? That's not good for you. You can get salmonella. That's one of the things you can get from there. So we're going to get this pan heated up. We're going to hear pretty soon the sizzle of it. Now remember, on mine, the element is on. That's the light there. That means the stove is on. And then the hot surface. So that's a little extra feature that we don't have at Next Step. We want to make sure when we're done to turn it off. I know that that's been an issue before. You can kind of hear it sizzling. All right, it's going well. That's part of the process. So, like I said, the goal is to have these type of cooking lessons on a fairly regular basis, 2 to 3 times a week. You know, we'll see how my camera people are. It's a little tough to cook and record at the same time, but I'm going to do my best here. So we're going to go back. Now it's really sizzling away, okay? Beautiful. It's going really well. So now I'm going to quickly just kind of make sure that this is stirred up. Okay. And then I can gently pour it into the pan. Good. And I'm going to do this. And I didn't have to touch anything, right? Just kind of quickly rinse it off. and back we go. All right? So you can see the eggs kind of forming around the side here. Okay? So as it starts doing that, we can kind of gently push it in and see how it fills back up again? That's what we're looking for, okay? That one wasn't ready. We're going to make sure we do this. Now, some people like to use this type of spatula when using an omelet. I prefer this spatula. I think it's easier to kind of flip it over. I like to flip it, all right? But you can kind of bring it in, all right? See how it kind of fills back in again? We're looking to get it fairly cooked before we do the flip. Okay? And here we are. And now you could take the pan and kind of rotate it around. Fill in those spots. Good. And now I'm going to add the cheese to it and kind of fold it over. So if I kind of do this on the cheese, now I can take it and fold it over. And that's what we're looking for, okay? That light brown, okay? And now it's going to finish cooking here. My toast is done. All right. And now I can hear it sizzling. You see that over there? The cheese is on there. So I can kind of get underneath. Excuse the camera work. I can flip it over to the other side and finish cooking. I actually, because this is an electric stove, I can turn it off and it'll stay warm for a little bit, all right? If you have a gas stove, once you turn it off, it's pretty much off. It'll still be a little hot. You don't definitely don't want to touch it. But the electric stove stays warm / hot for a while. So as you can see, we're pretty much done. Okay. I'm going to just let it sit there for one more minute. And then I'm going to get my toast out. There it is. I'll put a little butter on that. Yeah, I like it a little dark. And I will now be able to add this there. Okay. I'll add some light butter to that toast, and I have a pretty nutritious breakfast to start the morning. So enjoy your day, and I will see you soon.